Episode 117 of the Rebel Scum podcast. Hi, everybody. I'm James.
And I'm Brock.
I'm waving right now. Hi. So my video is extremely slow because my computer is having issues. Brock, you look phenomenal, by the way. You are smooth sailing.
Pale as always.
Yeah, my computer has a lot of memory left, but it says I have no memory. So gotta go get it fixed, but the audio should be fine. It probably won't be because there's always an issue, but the audio should be fine. And really, that's what is important is the audio. Today, Brock, how's your week been going?
Same old. I'm trying to think what this week was. It's cold. Baby, it's cold outside.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And yours?
Freezing also.
Nice.
Freezing. It's nice because it was a holiday Monday, so it's been a shortened week, and the weekend is fast approaching. I cannot wait to get tomorrow over and done with. But I can't wait to talk about Star Wars with you right now because last week we got the news of Episode 9 wrapped. You, myself, and Andrew Fantasia did a Never Tell Me the Odds Patreon show regarding the photo that was dropped. We're going to play two of those odds on this show right now, so everybody that doesn't have Patreon can kind of see what that show is and what we do. Once a week we do that show for everybody, whoever can get on it really is who's on it. But it's fun. That show's fun, just coming up with odds. It's fun doing it on this show, and that's why I think doing it again is even more fun. Because with Episode 9 and all these shows coming out, there's going to be so many more odds now. It's like you can't run out of Star Wars now.
No.
Speaking of running out of Star Wars, did Rian Johnson run out of Star Wars? His trilogy, when we recorded last, was canceled while we were recording that. And then by the time we finished recording it, he said, no, it's not canceled. So let's get into that a little bit. But first, what did you make? What are you making of the whole Rian Johnson trilogy? Are we going to see it ever?
I think so, because from what I've read, Disney, regardless of what fans think of The Last Jedi, it seems like Rian Johnson is one of Disney's golden boys. They want to give him whatever they want, and I shouldn't say that. That sounds very very presumptuous of me. I think Rian Johnson wants to give them a good product. But it was funny when the article came out. There's his trilogy is not canceled. I'm like, hey, what happened to Rian Johnson? Because we were talking about Benioff and Weiss quite a lot, and I was like, what happened with that? So it's funny that it came out, and because I almost wonder if. No, I don't wonder. It's because the internet all of a sudden was like, what happened with that? It's getting canceled. But and for some reason they've just gone on and on, even though it hasn't been canceled. Now it's like, oh, it could be a G rating. I'm like, where is all this coming from?
Yeah, well, that's the other news is that it's supposed to be a family film, but you corrected me before we got on the air today.
Yeah, I mean, I've been reading that Rian Johnson's commented, as he does a lot on his Twitter account. You think by now I'd start following Rian Johnson, but no, I've done a podcast for 3 years and I don't follow anything like that. He comments quite a bit, and he's commented on both topics. He's like, no, I'm still working on it. I'm writing a trilogy. Relax. And then I guess the G-rated thing just kind of pushed him over the edge. He's like, come on.
Enough is enough. It's funny because
I've comment.
No, he didn't. He just had a Donald Duck gif, which I thought was fantastic. I do follow Rian Johnson, and I saw that the Donald Duck gif, but by the time I saw it, the tweet that he was responding to had been removed, so I had no idea what that was even referring to.
Yeah.
I will say for following Rian Johnson on Twitter, he does tweet more during Los Angeles Dodgers playoff games than about anything else. For people that are like, oh, he always tweets about Star Wars. No, he mostly tweets about the Dodgers. So if you like baseball or the Dodgers, you'll probably be more interested. He also tweets about film or whatever. Like I said in the past, I only follow a few filmmakers and whatnot, and he's one of them. And I definitely get more Dodger tweets when the time comes. Mm-hmm. But look, we were talking about this also before we started recording. It's not a G-rated
Yeah.
Trilogy. Now, there's a few ways to look at that. One, he's like, the family film aspect of it is legit, and that's actually what it's going to be. But referring to it as a G-rated film is stupid on a few accounts. First of all, what we were saying before is, Darth Maul gets cut in half in The Phantom Menace. We would both consider that a family film, but you can't rate that G because somebody gets cut into 2 pieces. On the other hand, he could be like, hey, Disney, I want to make a family film. And they're like, that's fine. Make it for the whole family. It's Star Wars, which is the point of it. I mean, I would argue that, most of the Marvel films are family films in some aspect, in some respect, like maybe they get a little dark towards the end, but that's what it has to happen, right? So he's like, I want to do it more for family. They're like, go for it. These guys are like G-rated. He's like, I can't say it's G-rated because there has to be an MPAA thing going on about it. So, don't really talk about it. And maybe he's like, look, I have an idea. I want it to be family, but give me the freedom to maybe, if it has to go PG realm, give me that. So there's a lot, I think, that it's way too early to tell is what I'm trying to get at here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why people are panicking. Like, they're going to release a Disney streaming site or service that's going to make more and more Star Wars content. We're going to see some random content because, I mean, look what Disney's doing with Marvel, or rather, Marvel's doing with Marvel. Like, they're doing some random stuff, and they're taking chances, and it's paying off. So I'm sure people at Lucasfilm will take a note. Meanwhile, like, it's Star Wars. Like, it's just, it's dumbfounding how people are like, oh, Star Wars is ruined. It's like, okay, you didn't like a movie, that's fine. Like, it's like, it doesn't matter. It still made money. It didn't make, like, Solo didn't make enough money, but it was still a decent film. Are they gonna make another one? Probably not. I don't know. But, like, we need like 10 more. I don't even want to say flops like Solo. We need like Waterworld flop in the Star Wars world, and it needs to happen like 5 or 6 times before like the Star Wars franchise is in trouble. And anyone can argue with that. I mean, I'm not saying we're gonna love everything, right? Like, Resistance is an interesting show, but like it's not as engaging yet as Rebels is. But like, does that mean we turn our back on Filoni? That seems kind of crazy because he gave us Clone Wars and Rebels. Like, those were fantastic shows. So we just up and leave the second it all goes to crap? I don't know. Whatever. I'm gonna get in a circular argument about this.
Speaking of Resistance, Andrew Fantasia and Patreon Jacob Nixon will be coming at you guys sometime with a Resistance show on this channel. Yeah, that was that'll be fun. Brock, you and I get to sit and just watch that one and enjoy it as fans. We get to actually enjoy a show on the channel and participate in it, which will be very nice. Maybe we'll show up once in a while. I don't know. I started recording Resistance because I found the channel that it's on. Mm-hmm. And I started recording it, but I don't know how many episodes I'll get or what order I'll get them recorded in or whatever. PVR here in Canada. It's a PVR, not a DVR. PVR. Well, anyway, so Solo, the thing that was great about Solo is I love the movie as a whole. But then we kind of were talking about like Disney Plus seems like the perfect landing spot for something like that. Like maybe not theatrical because Star Wars, and I still believe this, Star Wars I don't even think should be a yearly thing. I think it should be, even if you go once every 2 years, that's okay. But I like the 3 years was fine. I just think because Star Wars needs to be an event. And I was reading this thing about about Steven Spielberg. He's this little indie filmmaker. I don't know if anyone's heard of him. But he's gone on and he said movies on Netflix shouldn't be considered for Oscars. They should be considered for Emmys. And I think a lot of people hate on him for saying that. And he kind of comes out and he says, I don't disrespect those films, but they are TV films. They're different. There's a lot of talent that goes into them, but they're not theatrical releases. There's something different about the theater. And I have to say, I 100% agree with him. I do. I think if a movie debuts on Netflix or Disney Plus or Hulu or Amazon Prime, it's a made for TV movie in a lot of ways. It's a made for streaming movie, which is a whole new media. Like it's a different category on its own, really, actually. But it's not a theatrical one. And I think Solo, because Solo isn't this big event, I think it can live in a place like that. And the thing is, right now, people just don't go to the theaters like they used to. I mean, you look at the last weekend, it was a long weekend in the States, and it was like the worst one in a long time, like 15 years or something like that. Like, it's getting really, like, people just are like, they're picking and choosing. And when you have shows like Game of Thrones, and who knows what this Mandalorian show is going to be, like, you have these shows that people are like, I mean, that's one show, Game of Thrones, but there's Breaking Bad. Like, there's so many shows that have just gone on TV, and people are like, why would I go to the theater when I could watch this at home?
Yeah.
And I think Star Wars, look, Marvel's done it. They can do it 3 times a year, but they are completely different from Star Wars also. Because Star Wars was an event film going all along. And I think they need to stick with that and give us our Mandalorian, our Cassian Andor, and the other stuff we're going to talk about in a little bit. Give us that stuff on the streaming service, and every few years be like, okay, you've had your appetizer, here's your main course.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know where I stand on Netflix specific films in where they rate in the Academy Awards. I know Roma is like that big one, that's Alfonso Cuarón, I believe.
Yeah, well, the rule for the Academy Award is it has to play in one of the major markets. It's either New York or LA for 1 week.
They ended up playing that, right?
Yeah, of course they will. Of course they will. So I'm not saying, look. Mm-hmm. No, I just think that I don't think that movie was made for Netflix. So I think Netflix just bought it. I think there's a difference. Like, there are some pretty garbage Netflix made movies. Let's just call a spade here. They're pretty good with the series, but they're movies. There's one coming out with Woody Harrelson and Kevin Costner that looks phenomenal. But
yeah, the Bonnie and Clyde that they're chasing them, right? Yeah.
I just walked in. Today. Yeah, I randomly saw that at work the other day. Someone was watching it. I was like, what is this? But anyway, sorry.
Yeah, but yeah, I know what you mean. Like, it's just sort of, I agree. I could, it's great going to the theater with my family every Christmas and watching a Star Wars film. It's great, but like, that's going to fizzle out because you're going to get tired of it. Like Rocky. Excuse my preferences on Rocky, but they made a lot of those films. And some are good and some are bad. At a point, you got to stop. Because how many Rockies are there? There's like 6, and then there's 2 Creeds, correct?
Yeah. And the thing with Rock, complete. But then you have Police Academy, which you're like, why did they stop?
Yeah. But yeah, exactly. It's just like, this is the problem with movies, that it's a business, it's a product. So it's like, even though people like Solo, I don't care what people are going to comment. People like that movie and people hate that movie, but it's considered a flop because it didn't make enough money. And then you're like, oh yeah, this is a business. Like, it is about telling a story, but like, it's not one of the main focuses, and you got to remember that. I mean, I was reading an article about, you sent it to me, Kylo Ren's helmet, and then they're just talking about, like, well, it's cool because they wear helmets, and you're like, it's cool branding, and it's like, but it's a film. Like, who cares about branding? Like, yes, helmets are cool in Star Wars. I'm not gonna fight that, but like, if that's your argument, like, yeah, then you're not worrying about a movie. You're worrying about toys, or you're worrying about merchandise. Like, I don't know. It's one of the things we got to remember. So you can't. Look, I love Star Wars, but some people are like, it's scripture and you can't do it. Otherwise, it's like sacrilegious. It's like, it's a movie. It's a movie that makes money. So like, sometimes you're not going to get, story might not be the most emphasis. You know what I mean? I don't know.
How dare you?
How dare I?
How dare you? How dare you? Well, let's talk about Disney Plus, which has both of our money. As long as it comes to Canada, it has both of our money. If it does not come to Canada, American friends, give us your codes. Give us your codes.
Give us your code. Yeah, exactly.
We'll take it. By the way, my phone, when I go on data, whatever that's called, when you go off, you're not on the Wi-Fi, you're on the cellular data.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I'm on that, it thinks that I'm in Quebec, and everything comes up in French. Everything. I do not speak French. Unfortunately, for my career choices, I do not speak French. So I don't like. I get ads on Twitter for Nintendo. I'm like, that looks cool. I have no idea what it is because it's all in French.
And you're what, like at least 2 hours from Quebec? At least.
Yeah. I'm pretty.
That doesn't make sense. Like,
I'm far enough for.
My parents lived on Lake Erie for a long time, and it would roam, but you could see, upstate New York across the lake when that made sense. That does not make sense.
I cannot see Quebec or their maple syrup festivals on snow, but I get all their ads, and yeah, so like sometimes if I'm on cellular data, and I want to go on a website that does not ship to Quebec, it says, you can't access this site, and I'm like, okay,
arrête.
Yes. No, it actually says it in English, Brock. That's the only time English comes up is when it says I can't go somewhere, because it's almost like it knows. It's like, we know that this is wrong. So that's annoying. But how did that come up? So anyway, talking about the streaming site, Americans, give us your codes. Anyway.
Give us your code.
Give us all the codes, because apparently, along with Cassie and Andor, they're also looking into doing 400,000 other series. Do you remember what they are?
Sorry, my smoke detector was going off.
Yes, I can hear that.
My roommate Joe was having a shower, and the steam, I think the battery's dying, so any kind of like vapor or whatever sets it off every once in a while.
Your roommate is Satan, and he bathes in fire.
I want to listen to the back. You can see if you can hear him cursing in the background. So sorry, what were you saying? Streaming service?
A lot of shows were announced that they're considering ideas for them. So we got to keep all this in mind, that these are just ideas, concepts that they're throwing around. But I actually loved every single one of them. They had Kira, Lando. I don't know if that was one or like it was a Kira and Lando show, which either way I'm down with whatever they want to do there. I'm absolutely 100% into that. So it's Lando then. And then, of course, the big one was ObiWan Kenobi.
Yeah, which is, do I want it? Yes. But when I hear a list of things we're considering, it's like, yes, we know you've been considering that for the last 7 years. Like, just make it, then I'll get excited. But yeah, no, I've said it before. I think an Obi-Wan, any time period, Obi-Wan would be interesting. Imagine if it was like, it's like, what was that show with John Landis, the guy from Little House on the Prairie, where he's like an angel, or I guess just like touched by an angel, but it's Obi-Wan and he's a Force ghost and he goes and helps people out by appearing to them. How amazing would that be?
It'd be pretty amazing. Look, I think the Obi-Wan film, I think, would do very well on the Disney Plus service, better than a theatrical release, as we saw. I know a lot of people are like, well, a lot of more people would prefer an Obi-Wan movie to Solo. Maybe. But, again, going with what I just said, for me, you want to do the big event films, stick Obi-Wan on that, because exactly it would just make better. But I got to give a shout-out to Wookiee Leaks, their Twitter handle, at @SW_Wookiee Leaks. They're reported on a new series. Brock, I don't know if you've heard of this one or not, but this just came through 2 days ago, and I was really holding out for this one. This is the report coming out of Lucasfilm. I believe Kathleen Kennedy, actually somebody found her paper at a local Dunkin' Donuts and read the report that a new series on Disney Plus to be headlined by Ben Quadinaros called Pods of Thunder.
I'm sold. Where can I put the money?
I just want to say this. First of all, if Ben Quadinaros appeared in anything, I was wearing my Ben Quadinaros shirt yesterday to work. If Ben Quadinaros appeared in The Mandalorian as anything, I would buy his Black Series, his Elite Series, his Lego, his action figure. Anything Ben Quadinaros would come my way. So I thought that was a funny tweet, and I loved it because it really did seem like one day they were just like everything was being announced as in development for Disney Plus.
That'd be great. And when you watch Resistance, like big part of Resistance is they have this like racing circuit around their I forget what it's just like, whatever that's their, I don't know why the word's escaping, but they have a racing circuit, and I'm like, that's basically just do pod racing, and that's like, so make a kid show about the pod racers. That'd be awesome. They sell toys. It's basically Paw Patrol, but with pod racers.
I would watch that.
Pod Patrol. Oh my god. It
Oh
itself.
my god.
And then Obi-Wan is a ghost, and he teaches them lessons. Boom.
How can you not want? I don't know. I love pod racing. I think pod racing would be fantastic.
Oh, I don't know why they haven't done it. Like, it's just so easy. It doesn't have to be a movie. Make it a mini series or something.
Can I just side Akbar quickly? We haven't done that in a while. I got a side Akbar on this.
Oh yeah.
The love that Jar Jar Binks has been getting lately on like comics and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Like you mentioned the lightsaber, he just like now he's like the leader. There was like something else with him. The love he's getting is now in the new like Star Wars Adventures, I believe, comic.
Yes.
Shout out to Disney. I love it. I'm like, bring it on. I'm really enjoying it. I got to get my hands on this stuff. I don't even know where a comic shop is near me anymore, so I haven't been able to, but amazing stuff. I love that Jar Jar is in the forefront of these. Like, they're independent from everything else stories that kind of, they live on their own and they're only in comic form, and we'll probably never see him on film or TV again, but I love it. I think he was in my top 5 star? No, he's in my top 10 Star Wars characters for sure. I love Jar Jar. I don't care. I never had a problem with Jar Jar. The end.
Yeah, what was it? What's the thing they just did that was like, haha, we're listening to the internet. I can't remember what it was. I guess Jar Jar Binks with a lightsaber, and that's supposed to be like Darth Jar Jar's like, I don't know. There's something else something happened in Star Wars where I'm like, yeah, this is just them being like, oh yeah, we're listening to the internet. But then the new shows, Kira and Lando interest me, but I gotta agree, it's like, just make them together. Though I will say, if you can't get Donald Glover, Alden Ehrenreich, and who plays Kira? I should know this. I like Game of Thrones. Oh god. Anyways, you know who I'm talking about, and
Emilia Clarke. Emilia Clarke.
Thank you. Do not comment on this. We figured it out. If you could get them, then let's make that show. Call it Kira or call it Lando, but have them all in it in some form. Focus on the character that is the titular character. But
here's one. Screw Lando and Han and make Kira and Darth Maul. And give us be like, this is a 1 season, 1 arc, 8 episode. Yep. Each episode is like between like 60 and 90 minutes, whatever, like a BBC style, like bam, take it. Who in their right mind would be like, yep, I'm watching that every day of the week.
And then you could have Kira go looking for Obi-Wan. And that's how Darth Maul knows where he is. Or I don't know if they've ever explained that. But then then you can go and fight. She can fight Obi-Wan. Like that'd be cool. I don't know. But like we've said it before, it's like, you don't make Han Solo 2, fine. Make Boba Fett and throw those characters in, or make Darth Maul and throw those characters, or Obi-Wan, or like, those a really cool story. Keep going. Just you don't have to follow the traditional format. Just give us the stories. That's all that matters.
Star Wars has this opportunity to be kind of like DC in that they could be stronger in their television shows, and their television shows could be even stronger than the DC shows because they could be on this Disney Plus service where, they could spend $1 million an episode on these shows. So I'm really curious to see what happens there. But like you said, like there's no need for them to come out with The Mandalorian and The Mandalorian not connect to another show. Yeah. It's just it's such a missed opportunity if they do that. But that being said, I could totally see them doing that because there seems to be a huge disconnect in what stories get told in the film process. Like it seems like the animated stuff, the comics, the novelizations, they've all got their crap together. But when it comes to the big screen anyway, we haven't had a chance to see Disney Plus, so I don't want to sound like I'm bringing that down yet. But they just don't seem to... Like Solo did the best job of connecting, and then Rogue One next, and then Last Jedi, and then Force Awakens, like the way that they've connected to other material. But it's like, okay, like, so your two biggest ones are the ones that aren't connected to the Skywalker saga. Like, just give us like we bring Marvel up. What do they do better than anybody?
Yeah.
Shoehorn every freaking thing they can into it, and it doesn't feel shoehorned most of the time because they all live in the same world, and you know that they live on the same world, and you accept it, and the world never feels smaller, even though it's a galaxy versus Earth, whatever. It never feels small because you go into it knowing, okay, well, Thor's with Iron Man, who's with Captain America, who's with Black Panther, who's with this guy, who's with that guy, who's with that, and no one cares, and the movies are entertaining, so that obviously helps out. Mm-hmm. There's no reason why Star Wars can't do that, and if they can't figure that out on the streaming site, then maybe they got to look into rebooting the whole thing.
Oh God, then they'll be more like Marvel, where they reboot every year, and you can, just to get you a new number one on the comic stand. Not in the movies, of course, but you know what I mean. Like, but look at where we're going in Marvel. I don't mean to deviate from Star Wars, but after Endgame, like, isn't all the contracts for most of those people up? So what happens next? Do we kill off characters or do we recast? And is that going to be confusing? I don't know. Like, it's.
Can I sad Akbar again?
Yes.
Is there a way in Marvel? Sorry, guys, we got to talk about Marvel for 1 second. Is there a way in Marvel where they could be like, okay, Robert Downey Jr., you're great, we love you, but you're done. And he's like, I know, I'm done. I just, I'm tired. I don't have any. We need to all move on. Because the other thing with that too is I think for everybody's sake, they gotta freshen everything up. Get rid of Robert Downey Jr. Bring in some new blood. Then could they be like, okay, Josh Gad, you're our new Iron Man. But I know it's a bad example, but do you think though they could do that in a way where they could be like, well, let's use Miles Morales for example. I know it's pretend that Spider-Man was Iron Man, and that's that like Spider-Man has been Robert Downey Jr. was Spider-Man in this scenario, okay? And he leaves. Do you think now they could bring in another actor to play Miles Morales to be like, you're our new Spider-Man. You're not Peter Parker anymore. You're like this guy, even though you're the same superhero. You're now different. Do you think Marvel's at that stage where they could bring in like these secondary characters to take over for the mainstays?
Yes, I think it's fine. It's just, again, people's reactions.
But that's what I mean. Do you think people are comfortable and confident enough that if they're like, we're going to take Robert Downey Jr. out and then we'll bring in, actress X to be our new Iron Man, but they'll explain it. Obviously, it has to be explained, but it'll all still work in that same universe that they've created.
I think they can. Yeah, I do. Like, recast it. Who cares? It's half the time you don't even see their faces because they're in a costume, or it's a stunt double. Like, especially with Iron Man, like, they could leave him in the suit. I know you see inside it, but like, you don't have to see inside him looking at his monitors. You could just have the Iron Man suit flying around, and then like there's like a 3-minute scene where it opens up and you see whoever's in there, be it Robert Downey Jr. It's like, Robert, we're gonna get $10,000 to work one day.
No, but I mean, it's not Stark under that element. It's Ernie Edwards is under that head when they have like this new character come in, and he could take over, and nobody would bat an eye.
Yeah, I think they can. Like, I think people will hate it, but I think they can do whatever they want. Because quite honestly, I hear a lot more of people saying, like on Marvel characters, like, well, they are like Thor. He has to be white. He has to be blonde. He has to have a beard or whatever. But like, I hear on a lot of different other like comic properties, like the Umbrella Academy, like cast one person. One of the characters is black, and one of the other characters is Asian. But in the book, they're all white kids. But it doesn't matter. It has no bearing, and there's no point of saying da-da-da-da. We're just in a time where, like, I hear a lot of people say, it's like, hey, why don't we just, if we recast it, it's like, let's make it a woman instead. Or, like, who cares? Like, because as long as the story is the same, as long as you can relate to the character, doesn't really matter. I don't know. It's gonna have to happen because these actors don't want to do these green screen nightmare movies anymore, right? So I don't know, or they're just I don't want to do this anymore. It's boring. Yeah. That's fair.
It is. All right, you ready to go to the odds?
Sure.
This week's odds are brought to us by Patreon. Thank you all on Patreon so very much. For Patrons, you guys have already watched this, but we want to show you all a little bit of. There's going to be 2 odds, and then we're going to show the odds from what we recorded, what we put up last week with me, Brock, and Andrew. Take a look. So let's get to the odds. We'll go first with my odd. I'll do my odd first, and then let you boys go after this one. In the picture, if you look very closely, and everybody is pointing this out, Rey clearly has her staff. Does this mean that she will never wield a lightsaber in this movie? The odds of Rey not wielding a lightsaber. Andrew, how about you start us off?
Negative 43%. There's no way in hell or high water that they're not going to let Rey get some dueling under her belt, and a duel in which, fans can actually praise, because a lot of people didn't praise the Force Awakens duel, and she didn't really get a duel per se in The Last Jedi. So there's no way in hell Mr. Abrams is gonna, sit down and be like, okay, Daisy, you're not gonna fight. I'm just gonna have you twirl the staff around for a bit. Nah, some dueling is going down, and she's involved.
Brock?
Oh, I hate to do it, but I agree with Andrew. 0%. I mean, come on. Why take it away? I honestly didn't catch that it was the staff. I think, James, you had to mention it to me, because otherwise I would just assumed it was the end of a lightsaber. So, but then looking closer, oh yeah, that looks like the staff, but it's not. Like, when someone holds a staff, you assume it's going to be a little higher. Yeah, no, come on, 0%.
Well, I mean, look, I'm going to go. I'm not going to say 0 because I think 0 is foolish, you fools. I'm going to go 0.01%, because he had that glimmer of well, maybe she's not ever going to be a Jedi, and maybe Abrams and company have somebody else up their sleeve to come in and become that, but they won't, because she's going to be the Jedi. But what I'm thinking is, we talked a lot going into The Last Jedi about her staff being a double-sided lightsaber or a lightsaber. She clearly has this staff. At this point in the movie, we got to talk about this further on, but, a lot of people brought up where in the film this takes place. I'm thinking, this could be the very beginning of the movie. She doesn't have a lightsaber at the end of The Last Jedi, obviously, so she needs her little staff. And Andrew, we'll go to you for your next. So we're all negative on that one. We all think she's definitely going to have a lightsaber and be an amazing Jedi Knight in this film. Is that what's happening here? We're all
maybe not a Jedi, but she's going to twirl some light around.
Okay. Semantics. Jedi. Andrew, why
even
don't
if
you
she just goes to a rave and just twirls it around a bit, like in front of
that would look awesome though, with the light going around. Andrew, why don't you give us our next odd?
Okay, so the next odd is, what are the odds that whatever they're filming in this picture is from the first 15 minutes of the film?
It's almost like I was trying to segue into that. I'm going to say, based on what I just said, I'm going to say 63%. Actually, I might even go lower than 50. I'm really torn. Here's the thing. J.J. Abrams, he likes to shoot his movie chronologically a lot of times, as much as he can. So there would have to have been a scheduling reason why they would end this movie with the first 15 minutes. That being said, also, Brock, I don't know if you remember, but this little movie called The Force Awakens that was released, the first couple trailers we got were only from the first 25 minutes of the movie. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go 57%. Brock?
I like the idea that it's from the first bit of the movie, because that's what Star Wars has been pretty adamant, I guess, on at least the saga films, that only you've seen all the stuff in the trailers from the beginning of the movie, so you can't. I think they did that with Last Jedi. I know of Force Awakens. But I like the idea. I'm gonna go 75% because I want it to happen. But then, the chronological thing makes sense. And you know what? They could just be lying to us. They could have shot this picture at any point, and that it's wrapped, but it's not this picture. But
yeah.
Absolutely. That could have been the day one on the set. Yeah. Could have been that. And they're all like, hey, we're together again. I like the idea of this movie starting with Rey on Jakku, though. I like that, where maybe, because it's a year and a half, I think they've said, between Last Jedi in Episode 9, that you're gonna have that maybe Rey just goes to Jakku to like kind of find herself to learn the way of the Force, because we know, as Brock pointed out to me after we saw the movie that I never noticed, is she has the books, right? So maybe that. So Andrew, what are your odds on your odds?
My odds are, I'm gonna go 64%. I think, I don't know, like I feel like you're right in terms of the way he likes to film, the way JJ likes to film. The only thing that's kind of throwing me off is this is the same Adventure Poe wardrobe that we saw in the very first images where he's with like Finn and there's some horses and stuff. So unless Poe's in that outfit for the whole movie, which is very likely, I thought that was just one big scene. So I don't know. I think it could go either way still, but I'm leaning more towards like 64ish because I feel like JJ wants to hide tiny detail, even if it's like a scratch on somebody's face that they get during a fight. Like he wants to hide stuff like that from us because it's him.
That's very
There's
true.
an image that came out, I think like a day ago. Like it was a day or two after the leak came out, and it was like pointing to the staff, and then it pointed to that building behind them. It says there's a Jedi temple. I don't think so. I just think they're on like Jakku, and that's just a backdrop. I honestly, I said this, I think, to both of you when I saw it. I said I do not think anything in here is a spoiler at all. You could pick this picture apart a million different ways. Nothing in this image is going to spoil the movie whatsoever.
I mean, we assume Jakku, maybe Jeddah, because we're thinking Disney era. But how amazing if this is the last scene that it's Tatooine. Like, what a great way to end it. That'd be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'd be very excited to see Tatooine, like, 30 years after Return of the Jedi. That's the time frame, right? Yeah.
I still think that's the absolute best planet to set a video game on, because you've got towns you can run around in. Everybody's kind of familiar with the layout of Tatooine. Like, there's so much you can do in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I agree that should be Tatooine. JJ, rewrite it to be Tatooine if it is not already.
Right now.
Yeah, right now. You still have time. And that's what we recorded last week. If you guys want to see more, join our Patreon. You can watch that and a bunch of other stuff for just $1 a month. Brock, you ready to go to the Hollow News to Coruscant?
Sure. Hollow News.
Here we go.
The news you need to know. Well, there's not much happening. Though Celebration has announced quite a few things, and we haven't really mentioned them much. So I figured we could just talk about that. I think it was announced this week that Monday, one of the first panels, I believe, I can't think if there's anything else, was on the Monday, April 15th, they will have a Phantom Menace panel. So that's going to be cool for the 20th anniversary. I mean, we kind of guessed at that, but I had to confirm with James, or like, this is like the first time they've spoken about it. So that's kind of cool. I hope we can get to go see that. I'm pretty excited for that. It would be neat to go, because like we kind of hate on, like, I know James doesn't, but like people like to hate on Phantom Menace, but like it would be fun. They're like, oh my god, that was 20 years ago. So there was other announcements, like I think I'm just looking at the list. I should have pulled up my emails, because this week they announced like some like really background characters, like I think the guy that plays General Veers is going to be there. There's Anthony Force, who plays Sand Trooper in Star Wars. Like, that's cool. I don't know why, but he doesn't have a name. He's just Sand Trooper. So that's pretty wild. But there's a lot of like animation announcements. That was a couple weeks ago. I think one of the newer ones was Freddie Prinze Jr., Billy D. Williams. Or was that a while ago? I can't remember, James. Peter B. Hughes is going to be there. Sam Witwer. I think that was it. I mean, just follow Celebration. It's all there. We'll try to keep you posted on it. I should have kept the thing open. But yeah, it's pretty exciting. And they're not like even hitting the heavy hitters. I mean, like Ian McDiarmid has been announced. Warwick Davis is going to be Billy D. Williams. But we're not hearing Mark Hamill yet. We're not hearing Harrison Ford. We're not hearing Daisy Ridley or Oscar Isaac or Oh God, who plays Finn?
Although John Boyega did
John Boyega,
tweet out or Instagram the Celebration poster. So
Did he? Okay, perfect.
he did. So he didn't confirm that he was going to be there, but take from that what you will.
So, like, obviously, there's more to come. It's only February. There's a lot to come. One thing, though, locally, James, I forgot to tell you. Toronto Comic-Con, where our most hated enemy, Andrew, will be releasing his, or not releasing, I think it's already out. It will be selling his book, Side Scroller. So if you're in Toronto in March, check him out. But they will also have the author of the new Padme Amidala book. I forget what it's called. I don't know if it's out yet. I don't think it's out yet, so it'll probably be out prior to that, but we can get the book there. So I'm probably gonna go pick it up. I kind of like that we get to see that there. So that's our Star Wars things for local here in Toronto. And that's pretty much it. You have any other news there, Mr. James?
Nope.
Cool. This has been Hollow News.
Hollow News. All right, we're going to do top 5. Our top 5 this week is going to be top 5 characters we would like to see go back and forth between the Disney Plus series. We talked about it a little bit earlier on, but it'd be kind of cool to see characters weave in and out of shows. I'm going to go first, and I want to see one of my all-time favorite Star Wars characters. I mean, I guess they should all be all-time favorite Star Wars characters, should they not? But I want to see Dex, the end. That's my only one on the list is Dex.
Well, then in the same vein, for my number 5, I'm going to say Tamora Morrison being one of the clones, specifically Captain Rex, because he's old already, and I'm pretty sure he can grow a white beard.
And even if he can't, it's Lucasfilm, Disney. They could do that if they wanted to. Absolutely. How could you not? 4 for me. Oh, man. Number 4 is a tough one because, I mean, I got to go with like Thing and Thing are like 100% happening. What else? I mean, Vader's too easy, right? Like Vader's like, Vader's too easy. I'm not going to go Vader in any of them, but I'm going to go Wicket.
Yeah. Yes. Give us an Ewok movie or is it a cartoon? Just why? Why not?
You're telling me that Wicket wasn't a big deal after the battle? Come on. Yeah. Wicket's a big deal. He's a high-ranking officer.
My number 4, I'm going to clap back on this one. Give me Poe Dameron. The only reason it's low is that Oscar Isaac is a hot commodity, so getting him to do a show might be difficult. But like the comic book series is great. Just make a movie, and he's there, or not a movie, a show. And it's just like we're pilots. The end.
I'd watch it. I mean, I'd watch anything that they're putting out. Okay, number 3, Ben Quaterneros. Look. Now, I know I made a joke about it before, but he doesn't have to be a character. He doesn't have to have lines. He doesn't have to be action figures. But I want him walking like this. Across your screen, one shot, Tatooine, old Ben Quaterneros sitting down. What could have been drinking like an espresso at a cantina. Like talking, like he has like a little thin mustache now. And he's like, oh, no. And he's very, very sad over the whole thing.
My number 3. Alden Ehrenreich, Han Solo. Just give him something. He put all that work into that character. Let him do something else. With Juno Sataimo, it's just them being friends. Chewie and Han just being friends.
But who wouldn't watch that movie?
Yeah.
Even the people that didn't like Solo like Chewie and Han in that movie. So, there you go. My number 2, one of my all-time favorite Star Wars characters. This one's legit. It's not Jar Jar Binks, but Jar Jar Binks should be on this list, but I didn't put him on this list because he won't ever be on anything. But number 2, Watto.
Yeah.
Love Watto. He needs, like, again, just like Ben Quaterneros, he could just be there. He could be an informant even. Oh my God, it writes itself.
My number 2, live action Hera Syndulla. Just make it happen. Just put her in the background.
Amazing. You just got a whole bunch of fanboy love, by the way.
Like they're putting her in the comics. She's apparently alive in Return of the Jedi. So make it. It's like a dramatic series where she's a single mom just trying to raise her son right, but she's also she's also devoted to her job, and it'd be like Flying Hera or something like that, or Judging, like that show, or like Judging Amy or something. Like we get Shonda Rhimes.
What a reference that is.
Drama. It's Harrison Dula centric, but like she's trying to find romance, but she's also trying to be a hotshot pilot and win the ideas I'm coming up with. Anyways, cool. What's your number one?
I haven't heard a Judging Amy reference in probably since it was on television.
It's only even then, the title.
I don't even know if I've heard a Judging Amy reference ever, actually.
Crossing Jordan, Judging Amy, Flying Hera.
Oh my God. Quality. All right, my number one is I think it was my number 4 all-time favorite character. Only because my top 3, you just can't beat them. But Darth Maul, or simply Maul. Yeah. Maul. Because you make the Kira show, you can't. Why would you make the Kira show without Maul? I know her story could be interesting, but I think it's way more interesting after Solo ends. And you're like, what? Did that just. My God. Like, I peed myself twice in the theater watching it.
My number 1, Cad Bane. Just
nice.
It's like my usual response of bounty hunters, but like put Cad Bane in.
No,
make us Western of some sort.
I want to redo my list and just add Cad Bane to all 5.
I heard like a list different from one you told me about the shows where the Darth Bane was involved, or they were doing a show around Darth Bane. And I'm like, whoa, that'd be crazy.
It would be. I would watch it. I'd watch all of the shows because here's the thing. Also, Netflix is going up to $14 on March 19th. I don't know if you got that email, Brock, but WTF? I do not want to pay $14 for Netflix, but Aaron says I have to. So, whatever they charge me for Disney Plus, I'm gonna pay it because I want to watch all of these shows and I want to watch the live action Lady and the Tramp. These are the things I want to watch at the Disney Plus. And so, there's some things on Disney Plus that they're announcing. I'm like,
hold on, is that a thing that they've announced?
Yeah.
That's so funny because I was saying they should do 101 Dalmatians, and someone was like, "Is that a thing?"
They did.
And I'm like, "No, but why wouldn't they make it?"
But they already did though with Glenn Close.
That's true, but then I
and she was phenomenal.
Didn't they announce that like Emma Stone was going to be the new Cruella de Vil? So I'm like, wait a second, I'm already talking about reality.
Oh, maybe. But Glenn Close was so good, you can't even.
That's true. I guess like it was one of the original live action, like the cartoons being I thought Cinderella was the first one, but I guess that one came before.
Yeah, this was before this new age. So they did that, and they also did a Jungle Book was it Brandon Lee in that?
Oh, well, yeah. But does that count as Disney though? Because like
it was Disney, but it wasn't. It was but it wasn't based on the cartoon though.
No, yeah.
Hold on,
but that still counts, right? Anyways, so yeah.
So this isn't their first crack at at that. So it was 1994. Jason Scott Lee. Well, I got my Lees wrong. It was Jason Scott Lee. Mm-hmm. Wow, this was actually a decent cast. Wow. John Cleese was in it. I haven't seen it since the theater.
I think I remember that one.
Yeah, it's in the theater. I am not a man. He says that in the Andy Serkis's Mowgli as well.
Nice.
So have you ever read The Jungle Book, Syed Akbar?
Yeah, I think most of it. I think
it's kind of cool.
It's old. It's like when you read I can't even think of an example. I don't want to go Shakespeare because that's a whole other thing. But it's like, oh yeah, this is a different style of writing.
Okay, here's the cast. Here's the cast for Lady and the Tramp live action. I don't know how it's live action. So anyway, the voices are Tessa Thompson, Justin Theroux, Ashley Jensen, Benedict Wong, Sam Elliott, Janelle Monáe, Kiersey Clemens, Thomas Mann, Yvette Nicole Brown, Adrian Martinez, and Arturo Castro. So
there's that many characters in that movie.
Well, yeah, but I'll bet you Sam Elliott is like just one guy who's like, hey, you need some advice? Like, they might be one-liners. So Lady and the Tramp is set to tell the story of an upper-middle-class American Cocker Spaniel named Lady who meets street-smart downtown stray mongrel called the Tramp, and the two embark on many romantic adventures, including the iconic spaghetti smooch dinner scene.
And then instead of the Italian guy singing, "This Is the Night," it's Lin-Manuel Miranda as the one guy and Cardi B is the other guy with the accordion. It'll sell like hotcakes.
Absolutely. Erin already has that downloaded on her iPhone. So anyway, the characters are playing are let's see. Aunt Sarah. Okay, all these make sense. Yeah, these are all characters. I'm not telling you who they are.
Well, is Benedict Wong the Siamese cat? And isn't there two Siamese cats? Will it be as racist as the original?
Actually, true story. One of my favorite Disney songs when I was a kid was "We Are Siamese." I loved that song growing up. I had a Lady and the Tramp cassette tape that my dad got at a gas station, and I wore that song out. Don't ask questions. It just hit me. I don't see any of the. No, they're not even on this list. So, yet to be. No, Benedict Wong is the bulldog. A bulldog.
I like Benedict Wong. He's great in the Marvel movies, and also Deadly Class. Great show out right now. It's on Space here. I think it's sci-fi in the States. Great show. Check it out.
And he was on an episode of Black Mirror that I just watched.
Which episode?
Brock, if I told you, that would mean I knew what episode it was. I don't know. It had something with like bugs. They were like metal computer bugs
dogs?
Flying. No, they were like metal like wasps that were controlled.
I gotta rewatch Black Mirror because I cannot visualize that. Anyways.
Yeah, anyway,
Today
he was
on
in
Netflix.
Anyway, yeah, so this is episode 117 of the Rebel Scum podcast. Thanks so much, guys, for watching. It really means a lot to us. Brock, I hope you had fun talking Star Wars today.
I always have fun.
We barely talked Star Wars. We mostly talked Marvel and Lady and the Tramp live action.
Yep. Lady and the Tramp live action.
Is it live? Like, is the new Lion King movie live? Like, how? It's just like enhanced computer animation, is it not?
Yeah, pretty well. Though I swear I heard that there was actual motion capture with the actual actors.
Yeah, but
So
it's still. But like in the 70s Lord of the Ring animated films, they just drew over the humans doing the motion, right? Like what's that called? Is that rotoscoping? Whatever the hell that's called. They still do that, but like, how is that? Is that much different from what? I don't get it. I'm just like, it's not. They're not like. It would be more impressive if Jon Favreau actually had real lions do this.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a real lion singing "I Just Can't Wait to Be King"?
It's like Mr. Ed, where they just put peanut butter in their mouths so they actually open and close their mouths. Oh, fantastic.
I'd watch that. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Check Patreons. Check out the videos on Patreon. There's some on there, some not on there. Some are coming up. More coming up this weekend for you. Brock, thanks for joining me from afar in this cold weather. And until next time, you were always scum.
Lady and the Tramp Scum.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.